Here we go, guys. So, as promised, I said we'd be back with kind of a different format on the podcast. I'll be honest, podcast was getting stale. I had to take a break. I had some stuff going on in my life. I received hundreds of messages, literally hundreds. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate the support. It really helped during that time. But as I said, I'll be back with a new format, and this is the new format. This is the first episode. We're going to be doing a few different videos each week that are kind of in the style of the podcast, but a bit shorter. There'll be 15 minutes to 45 minutes. Today's one's a bit longer, but, you know, it happens. Familiar faces, the guys that you know and love from the podcast, will be on these videos. I'm doing a reaction to Season 8 with Killer Josh tomorrow. We'll be doing WLN on that as well. But the concept is we're going to look back today on Season 7, and we're just going to grade everything a W, L, or an N. I'll always do these videos with one other person. We've got an excited person on for the first ever episode. Let's get into it, guys. Hey DBG, how you doing, man?
How are you, Jazz? How are you, man?
Good, good. Took a break. Feel refreshed. Enjoying the game, all of that stuff again. So all a bit weird.
Did you say enjoying the game?
Yeah, almost. Almost. Like, I won't say for sure, but almost. I've definitely had some moments of enjoyment over the last probably 3 days. Although I played a game of Unlimited, which might have ended all of that today. So
yeah, I was about to say, I was like, if you don't play Unlimited, the game's fine. If you play offline, play a bit of Triple Threat, the game's fine. Yeah. If you don't, and if you go into the game thinking it's actually a good game, it's pretty bad. Like I record a squad builder. You'll see it probably. Well, it'll be up Wednesday for me. Like it'll be before this video comes out. But I was playing against a 2-3 zone, and I tossed the ball to Embiid in the post, and all 4 other players all ran to the key. 2 players stood on the elbow. 1 player stood on top of Embiid, and the other player stood on the opposite block. So all 4 players packed paint. All 5 players were packed to paint because I passed the ball in the post. It's like the devs, I can guarantee you the gameplay devs have never watched the game of basketball before.
I don't think I've ever watched anyone play a game of 2K either. Like it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I went 1 for 16 on whites in a game today. My opponent went 10 for 20.
Yeah, like I know, I'm pretty confident why 5v5 is so bad.
Go on.
Because they develop the game to play really well in park. They don't actually develop the game. The game isn't developed for 2 things. 99 overall demigods. Like the game doesn't know how to react because they do not test what happens if you put 99 speed on a 7'5" player. The game they don't. I know it for a fact because of the way I've heard the devs talk. They do not test what would happen if you put a max height, max wingspan player and give him 99 speed.
You're doing it right now in your videos.
Yeah, but like they didn't test it. I'm doing more testing. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're literally.
Like I can guarantee if you ask the devs about the speed of players in game, they will say a 99 speed player is faster than a 98 speed player, and not that. Speed actually is more determined by running style, height. Like if you're smaller, you run faster without the ball. If you're taller, you run faster with the ball.
Yeah.
And whether you're high, whether you have the ball or not, the speed with ball stat literally means nothing.
Yeah, the ball thing was weird. I saw that in your video the other day. How was he so slow? But that literally made no sense to me. Like he's tall, he should be covering ground.
No, he has bad run style.
It's just down to
running style. Yeah, because Yao Ming doesn't have a bad running style. Bull stutter steps every like 3 steps. So he can't actually sprint with the ball. He is a Magic Johnson type thing where some people can't sprint and Bull can't sprint. Like Magic Johnson is slower than, I can't remember what, the 25 speed Yao Ming that came out with the ball up the floor is faster on current gen than the Pink Diamond Magic Johnson are getting up the floor with the ball. Because one player has a stutter run and one player doesn't. Like, and that's why the funny thing is that I was like, speed Grinches don't actually do anything.
Yeah.
Except for change takeover.
Yeah.
They actually, like a player with 90 speed and a player with 99 speed. The speed stat is not what makes them faster. It's their player build. It's what running animations 2K gave them. And on next gen, more so than anything, the height. The taller you are, the faster you are with the ball. The smaller you are, the faster you are without the ball. Like they misprogrammed that. And also, they don't actually program it for good players.
Okay.
So when they test the game, they test it amongst themselves, and they're all garbage at the game. Right. So like they test the game as if 2 garbage players are playing, and they're just like they're running these plays and they're doing all this like stuff, and they're like, oh, this looks good, this is fine, this is good, but they don't realize that within one day, someone who actually knows what they're doing will find one way to get by somebody, and then there's another way, and the game's broken in one day.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh yeah, we can't fix the cheese in the game. It's like, yeah, of course you can't if you wait until after the game comes out. Like you can work on the game before it comes out.
Yeah, it's
to prevent all this. But you can't patch the cheese.
Yeah.
You cannot patch movement in a game.
Yeah.
But you can make sure that the movement works in the first place. Yeah. And they don't make sure the game works at the start. And they've put themselves in a position where they can't patch the game. They're trying. It's not for a lack of trying to fix the game. The problem is that it's hard to get the game good when you've already started so far behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they don't test the game properly. Like they don't play test the game properly. There is no reason why they shouldn't have 2K League guys test the game.
Yeah.
Because they'll find out how to break the game in a day.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
I mean, there's plenty of good like MyTeam players that could test it for them as well, right? Yeah. For sure.
But it was like 2K19 day one or before the game came out. I was given feedback. I was flown over to England and it was like, oh yeah, you can play the game early. And there was a big problem in 2K19 that locks were so OP because there was like to stop the blow animation, there was like a force field around the players. So if you tried to run by anyone, you just like bump off them. And it was like really, really hard to go by any player, whether there were 60 overall. And I literally said it. I was like, why have you programmed a force field around every single player? And they were like, what do you mean? And I'm like, here's the replay. I'm going to show you the replay. And it's like players that are this much away from each other.
Yeah.
And they're getting bumps nowhere near. It's like, you have put a force field around any player that bumps every player out. And like, obviously, by the end of the year, people figure out ways around it. But like, it was the reason why locks were so OP. And like, this is months before the game came out. And like, there was a developer there and he goes, what force field? I'm like, you know what force field? I was like, you put it in the game. I'm telling you about something you put in the game. You know it's in the game. Don't lie about it. And this is like before launch. Game launches, force fields there.
So that, yeah, they had that. I don't know, but I'm struggling with all of it. Like, it's funny you say, like, it's weird that I've been enjoying the game. But, like, I took a break, as you know. So I came back to it, so I'm partly refreshed. The gameplay is so bad. Like, I had to get in my head that this is NBA Jam to start enjoying this game again. Yeah. That's literally what I had to do. I had to forget that this is a competitive game, that it's skill-based, all of this stuff. It's the only way I could get any enjoyment out of the game. And I'm kind of really struggling to refute. Like, I'm struggling to accept that the point of MyTeam isn't to build a squad and go online and use it. Like, I'm really struggling with that concept because that's not the point of the game anymore. The point of the game is to collect cards aimlessly. Cards. Yeah. Literally aimlessly.
2K've done a really good job with that.
Yeah.
I will say that. 2K, the MyTeam guys, in terms of card collecting, it's great. But like, the game, the purpose isn't to build your best team anymore. It's to collect cards.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm collecting cards. I genuinely don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know. I
like collecting cards. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that part. That's the only enjoyment I get out of the game is card collecting.
I'm a collector. I mean, look behind me. Like, collecting is something I enjoy. But just the essence of like that poll, right? I was telling you about that you kind of made go viral. 60% of people said they had more fun on 2K20, which is crazy. With all the content, everything that we've got in this game, the fact the gameplay is so bad.
People only remember the good parts, the times they enjoyed 2K20. We were saying this exact same thing last year. And I'm always going to say that. Like, the tween.
I remember
the game.
The thing
you cannot say that the gameplay is more as bad as the gameplay is this year. I will say nothing. Once people figure it out, tween, hop step, mash pump fakes, and there's nothing you can do. Once people figured out that, I am telling you,
here's the difference.
It was worse.
Here's the difference. Last year, you would run into exploits now and then, and the majority of people I played didn't know how to do it. I couldn't tweet
because there was no SBMM.
Yeah, now
like SBM because if you're good at the game, you're only playing as other people that exploit the game.
I uploaded a gameplay today. 3 seconds into the game, I was being double teamed. Full court press, cheesing threes, zigzagging up the court. Like every possible exploit is used for the entire 20-minute game by both sides. Like that's 2K20 was more fun than that. It was.
That's only because of no SBMM.
Yeah.
Only because you have good memories. We all have good memories of us abusing the game, quick stop threes with Dwayne Wade against a guy who barely knew how to play the game and winning by 50 points. We all have good memories of that.
I was trash though last year. I was trash. I went 12-0 every season from probably April, but I was bad at the game. Like I couldn't do any of that.
That's not possible. That's not possible.
I did cheese a bit, I'll be honest. But yeah.
If you win 12 games in a row online more than once over the course of a year, you are a good player. I don't care what I don't understand why in the community, if you're not a 95% win rate player, you're ass. Yeah, like even if you're even if you're like an 80%, 90% win rate player, you're still one of the best players in the world because first of all, you're in the highest bracket of SBMM.
Yeah.
Second of all, only MyTeam is full of sweats. Like if you can go with an 80% win record in MyTeam, there's probably about 10,000 people in the world that have that record on all consoles, on all servers combined.
It feels like it's 1% and then everyone else, right? There's that top 1% and then everyone else in the same bracket.
Yeah, people don't even realize that like Ty is the best in the world. Like guys like Ty are the best in the world.
Yeah.
There are 10 million people that play this game.
Yeah.
Or that own this game. I think there are like 4 million people that have logged into MyTeam. Like just because you're 30 points worse than the number one guy, like the top 1% is like 40,000. If you're saying you're in the top 1% of MyTeam players, that's like saying you're in the top 40,000 players in the world. And I'm like, I think most of us could say we're in, or even 5%, whatever, 200,000 players in the world. I'm confident that I am. Like both of us are definitely in the top 200,000 players in the world.
Probably, yeah. Yeah. Doesn't feel like it sometimes, but yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
Yeah, but it's like, we're obviously not in the top 5% amongst people that are known in the community.
Yeah. Because
like, the 50th percentile amongst people that are known in the community is probably the 95th percentile, or it's probably the 90th percentile of overall players.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Should we jump into this then? WLN. Yeah, cool. Right. Let's look back on the season then. I know you're really high on the season. This is going to be interesting because people say that you're like down on the game, but it's going to be very evident throughout this that you're way more positive about the game than I am. Like that's going to be really clear by the end of this. Let's start with Vince. So Vince Carter as a player and the grind with it all being available on first day of the season. WLN.
W grind N player. He was fine. Great that it was grindable on one day. Unbelievable.
I mean, what SB did was nuts. Did you check his streams?
I was there for the end.
Oh, he didn't look right at the end of it. Like he was definitely suffering.
I can't do that. I didn't even get Vince in the end because he would have been like my 5th choice 2-guard.
You know, I told you I took 3 weeks off. I got him in 3 days. Like literally just went. I was at 50k. Like I was at 50k. I just did win the weekend limited stuff. But yeah, it was easy. It was by the end of the season there was so much XP. Like I was renting players doing it the old way, and it was ridiculously easy.
How long do you reckon it would take to get 80,000 XP?
It took me 3 days to do 100.
Like how long were you playing?
It was a bank holiday weekend, so probably 6 to 7 hours a day, I reckon, for 3 days.
Do I want to go for it?
You can do it. What are you on now?
Like 80, like 70, 80.
Oh, do it. I'm going to tell you why. It's a W for me on both counts. I love the fact that XP was available straight away, even though the fact that I didn't do it until the last week, so it kind of had no relevance for me. But I like the fact that it was available because it made it exciting. Like the stuff that happened with SB was really cool. It was good for the community. I thought it was a good thing, and I love that Vince Carter card. Your next gen, I don't know. Maybe he's not the right card for you, but on current gen, he's a beast.
Yeah, he's not going to make my team over TJ Warren on next gen, and he's not going to make my team over. I think who do I run to 2? He's not going to make my team over Mikal Bridges either. Yeah,
I've got Vince starting at the 2 and TJ starting at the 3 in my starting lineup. But I love Vince. Like he's the last game of Unlimited I won. He literally won it for me. Like yeah, he's money. I like him. All right, let's do Unlimited then. Let's try and keep it to a minute or 2 because I could go hours on this.
That's just not just what's Unlimited. What is that mode? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that mode is.
I mean,
even though I've played. I think I looked at my record today. I'm like 26 and 10. 7 of my games have been quits. Have been games that I've quit in the first quarter because I just didn't want to sweat.
Yeah.
And then one of my losses was with like Muggsy. So, and 2 of my losses were like legitimate games that I lost to a guy who beat me. So I'm like, whatever, 27 and 2 in Unlimited. I've played way too much of it. Hated every minute of it.
That's the thing. Yeah, I quit a game that I was up the other day because the gameplay was annoying me that much.
I've done that so many times. I used to do that on stream
I was
last
like
year.
in the third quarter. I'd like played the game. I just had to.
Yeah.
I couldn't play another second of it. Like just of that one game. Yeah.
Like if I'm in a sweat game, if I've just lost a sweat game, and say if I've like gone down to the wire, or I've just won a sweat game, and then I'm into another sweat game, and one thing goes against me, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm annoyed. Let me just quit.
Bad. The game I played earlier was probably the worst game. Like that's the thing. I told you I got into this headspace where I just treated it like NBA Jam. But today was the worst game I've played, like in terms of sliders, algo nonsense. Because the annoying thing is, SBM aside, like he wasn't good at the game. The guy I played today, and he beat me by 2, and it annoyed me. It annoyed me. Larry Johnson, what do you think?
I've never played against a good player with Larry Johnson, so I'm going to say L.
Yeah, cool. Are you giving it all an L, unlimited as well?
Yeah, the card sucked. Like, in fact, like Larry Johnson was worse than TJ Warren. Like, I know, obviously, Larry Johnson to you is like Hito Turkoglu to me, but I'll admit it that Hito sucks this year.
I love Larry Johnson. I think he's the most underrated card in the game. All biases aside, I think he's one of the most underrated cards in the game. On current gen, he's just...
Give me a reason why. Except for you like his release.
Except for I like his release. Like, people are saying he's got a small player build. I don't see that.
He does.
He's dominant. I literally did a gameplay the other day where he came on in the last quarter. I was down and he put up 27 in the last quarter. He got 2 rebounds in the first minute where we couldn't get a rebound all game. He was getting defensive stops where other players weren't. Yeah, I think he's great.
For me, he's probably, if we're talking about players in the game, he's probably about 75.
He makes the top 100. Okay, we'll take that.
He just about makes the top 100.
Yeah.
But you need to win. How many games you need to win to get someone who just about makes the top 100?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to ask Notorious God that. I definitely didn't do it. I didn't do it. I don't even know how many wins it is. Okay, I'm giving Unlimited as a whole an L for all the reasons you mentioned. Yeah, we don't really know what it is.
Unlimited's been an L. It's been an L since the Paul Pierce season, since season 1.
Since season 1.
The only time you have ever gotten a top 15 card in the game.
Other rewards, yeah.
And it was the best card in the game.
Actually, no, Rice was the last good Unlimited reward.
No. Rudy Gay
was fine. Yeah, Rudy Gay was a lock-in though. He wasn't 12-0 card.
I mean, I did like
Beasley,
Oscar
wasn't
Robertson.
it? Was Beasley the
Beasley
last card?
Oscar Robertson. Go Big O.
I got him. I didn't use him because I already had Ben Simmons and I can't remember who else. Magic off the bench.
Yeah, he couldn't tween, so I didn't use him either.
But not enough exploits. Love it.
That was last year. Was if you carded Pro 8, they were automatically 10 times better than the other card because they just glitched true players.
I wish I'd learned to do it last season. To be honest, I only played a few games where anyone was doing it to me. When people were doing it to me, I was ready to break my controller.
I need to get my controller. It was this. This is all you have to do. What was it? It was...
That's it.
Yeah, well,
I learned to curry slide about 3 months ago. Do you know how annoyed I was when I learned to do it and realized how easy it was?
You could
6 months dealing with that step, that big time.
Unpopular opinion: Curry slide was more overpowered last year because no one knew how to guard it.
Right? Yeah, no, I didn't.
It was the same thing as Curry slide this year, except you held down R2 while doing it.
Right.
And you got so much separation because like Yao Ming could Curry slide last year.
Jeez, I'm really glad that wasn't like well known. I'm glad that wasn't a known thing.
It wasn't a known thing because the tween was the tween. Like if the tween was a thing this year, no one would care about Curry sliding.
That's true. I mean, yeah, they're better this year. I mean, it was last year as well, but it's all about 3 hunting this year. It's just speed burst into a 3 in it. That's it. I don't know if anyone wants to do anything else. All right, so yeah, Unlimited's L for me. Larry Johnson was W. Limited this season. 4 weeks of requirements.
The requirement they gave up on limited in about January when they just started making the requirements. Use rubies, use 86 and overall, and under lineups. Like at the very start of the year, it was like use all-time college greats, use during the NBA Finals, use teammates of LeBron James and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Limited, they stopped caring about limited early in the year because they realized that it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. And then also the RMG based rewards, I missed it the first week, and because you can't play catch up if you miss out on the first week.
Yeah.
You can't. There's no point playing the game mode, so it's an overall L of a game mode.
Yeah, don't think about going on holiday or anything like that. I mean, that's
Elgin Baylor's really good. If you got Elgin Baylor, fair play, really good reward. But the overall game mode, It was my favorite mode up to a point in 2K.
It's my favorite mode now. It's only 5v5 I enjoy it.
You know what? I will say that, like, I actually don't mind playing the mode.
Yeah.
But, like, I played 12 games. I rubber banded about 7 of them. But I won the other 5 games very, very comfortably this weekend.
Yeah.
Because I just used, like, Bill Russell and Sharpie shot with him.
I mean, I rarely lose a game of limited. It just makes me depressed because it really makes clear that skill-based matchmaking and unlimited. That's the thing that annoys me. I'm like, these guys that are playing with God Squads and limited, where are they in the unlimited streams?
I had the best limited reward ever. So the middle pack was a Manu Idols pack. The middle pick was the Manu Idols pack. The right pick was a Manu Idols pack. And the left pick was a Manu Idols pack.
I've seen that before. I saw it with the KD. Was it the KD Idols packs? Yeah, all 3. I think I saw.
I was just like, Manu Idols pack. I was like, you know what? This isn't too bad, but like, I was like, you know what? I'll take it because it's better than like 1 token or something. Because at least it discards for 1,000 MC. I was like, the other 2 were Manu Idols packs. I was like, all right, you win 2K.
It's not RNG. You can only get 1 reward. Like,
yeah.
Okay, limited this season was a W. I really enjoyed it. It's a real break from unlimited. I need limited in the game right now.
I love the concept of a restrictions game mode. Yeah. I hate the fact that the rewards are RNG based.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that you can only play it on 3 days of the week.
Yes.
And I hate the fact that one player can win 120 games and not get the ring, and one player not get any of the cards, and one player come in 4 games and get a first time every time.
Yeah.
Like I haven't got the.
I think it's different for me because I play limited. Like even if I get the ring after a couple of games, I usually play it a bit more anyway. So unless it's one of those weeks where I've got to play 30 games where it really gets out of control, and then I'm like, my wife's fighting and all of that stuff. Like then it gets bad. But most weeks I'll play 15 games just for fun.
In my last, I reckon of my last 60 games, I've played 60 games of Unlimited since the last week of the year where I didn't get the ring. It was the second last week for Pau Gasol. I played 60 games since then, got the ring once, and missed out on the ring twice. So in 60 games, I've seen the ring. I've seen a ring 3 times, but I've only gotten it once. So I have less than a 2% rate of getting the ring for every win of Limited. And I know people that have gotten 4 rings that in 4 games will get 4 rings.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just looking at it like I'm not even bothered playing.
Yeah.
I don't, whatever they've done to my account. First one of the year, I played 39 games to get my ring. First week of the year. And then until the second last week for Pau Gasol, every single week I got it in like my first 3 games. And then after the Pau Gasol week, I saw it once. I saw it on my 14th game and missed it, and I just gave up. Then didn't play it for a few weeks, and then I tried the first one for Rashard Lewis. 22 games, didn't even see a ring, so stopped. And then obviously I got the ring the Bradley Beal week, where you had to play 12 games. And then obviously I didn't play anything the first week of Baylor. I played one of the other weeks, I can't remember. And then the D'Lo one, this time I got 5 and didn't even see a ring in 5 games.
Jeez, yeah, that's bad luck. That is really bad. Like, well, it's probably not bad luck. It's probably something more sinister. But worst weekend.
No, it is bad. It is bad luck. It's not something more sinister. I can guarantee it's not. But I can guarantee you there are more people that have had equally as bad luck as me.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to get onto something later, which will surprise you. Which it might create a different conversation when I talk about Bailey. But yeah, I don't know how random it is. I'm starting like JD came on and he said he doesn't really sort of think it's RNG. He thinks it's something different to that, and he also in game he believes that it's not RNG. It's just luck. I don't know. I can't really separate those two things completely, but yeah, I mean, I think there is something to it. I think it's got a lot to do with game time. I think that's what it's got to do with.
Yeah.
I think it's got something to do with game time. Limited for me, the mode was a W because it was the only thing I enjoyed all season. Elgin was an N for me. I think most people are going to give him a W because of his jump shot.
He is chicken man.
If he'd made my team, he hasn't made my team. That's the only issue. He's the most fun card to use in TTO, for sure. I absolutely love using that card in TTO. But I think people were really hyped about Elgin because their expectations were so low on the hit. That's what I think.
If you're on current gen, so it's a bit different. If you're on next gen, Exum is like Ray Allen. He's basically Ray Allen without blinders.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I get why people like him, but yeah, he's 6'5" and he's struggling to make my team. What are you giving it? W, L, N? Limited?
Reward, I'm giving a W. The fact that they just stopped caring about restrictions, I'm going to give the mode now.
It's an L.
My favorite. Potential to be the best mode in my team. For half the year, it was the best mode, but they just stopped caring.
I like that. I mean, like, I'm saying I enjoy it, but it could be better. It's good. Yeah, that's good. Spotlights. Bill Russell.
You know what? It's so much. There's so much to like about it, but then you go to those final 11 challenges, and it's not that they're difficult, because I would understand, like, winning. If they wanted to make it difficult, maybe let's just say you have to win a game by 13 points. You have to win 21-8. And like that means you have to lock in, you have to try, you have to make sure you're playing defense. It's extremely frustrating, it's extremely difficult, but like that's difficulty. But forcing you to chuck up bricks, like that's not testing the game. The game shouldn't force you to miss shots. The game shouldn't force you to prolong a game to do achievements. Otherwise you don't get it. Like that's the one thing that I really dislike about it, is that no matter what gen you are on, you are forced to chuck up bricks. Yeah. Like you can't actually just. The goal should always be. You can't play the game. Yeah. You have to intentionally miss and pray you get lucky. Yeah. Like it's not playing. Intentionally chucking up bricks for rebounds is not playing a game.
Yeah. And then when it's not happening as well, it's just rage inducing. Yeah. Like when you are chucking up bricks and not getting the boards, it's control of breaking time.
And then like you can't. It's nearly impossible on next gen to get assists to 2-point shots because players won't roll or cut to the basket.
Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah.
So like,
I mean, it's not overly easy on current gen either. When the defense starts ramping up, there's certain games where they're just completely locked down. Like,
but it's like it is easier on current. But like on next gen, they never fixed it from the start of the year. Where if you call a pick and roll on in triple threat, your player will pop every time.
I've seen it on your videos.
Physically cannot roll. Yeah. And no matter what settings you do, they physically cannot roll. And it's a flaw in the game they have not fixed since day one. You still can't call plays in triple threat offline or triple threat online. Thankfully, you can do it for the challenge. You can't spread your players out and they just run around in circles around directions. Like it brought, because of the way it showed a lot of the flaws in the game in that, because the only way of completing the challenges was by exploiting the game.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't complete the challenges by just playing the game. So you had to exploit the game in some way. And because we were all trying to find out what the best ways to exploit the game was, it just exploited. It just showed that there was just so many flaws. The game's beyond broken on both gens.
Yeah.
It summed up how broken the game is.
I mean, I didn't do them, and I'll explain why. But my entire Twitter feed was just rage. It was just rage for like 4 or 5 days. There was nothing. There wasn't a tweet that wasn't, the spotlights are making me feel ill.
I mean, there's like a 2K, like I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say exactly what it is, but it's like a 2K creator feedback thing. And for about 2 days, it is just me ranting about spotlights, being like, this is a joke. Like, just like full on rants. Yeah. And like I'm not like JD signed, Josh is signed to them. These other guys, like I think I'm one of the only people in this that's not actually signed to 2K.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't care. Like I don't care if they like me or not. Yeah, and I'm literally there being like, this is why it's wrong. It's evident it was not, the devs did not test this. Or if they did not test it on current gen.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen them expecting players to do. It was like, I didn't say quite in that words. I made it a little bit better. But it was literally like, this is the problem. This is why it's a problem. This is how it can be fixed. And summed up every point with, I am convinced that this was not tested before by anyone before it was released. And every point was, I'm convinced this was not tested.
I mean, we're sitting there saying they didn't test the game properly before it's released.
They did not
test. They tested the mode. Like
they made the requirements. The requirements were made by saying, how can we make these requirements difficult?
Yeah. I mean,
and they were like,
you see comments on Twitter like, oh, it's supposed to be challenging. Yeah, okay, it's supposed to. Just the time alone is challenging. Let's be clear on that. Just the time you're putting into it is challenging.
There's challenging. And I think this is where the problem is that a lot of people that haven't been in the position where they're playing these challenges just think, oh, sure, it's hard. You're complaining about being hard. And it's like, no. And that's the problem is the people that made the requirements just thought this is going to be hard for them and not realize that not only is it hard, you can't do it without exploiting the game. Like the 11 assists in a game. If your player accidentally warps outside the 3-point line while you're shooting a mid-range shot, which happens a lot, you lose. You can score and lose.
Yeah.
Like if you hit a 3-pointer accidentally to start the game, reset, you've lost.
Yeah. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen.
And you're just like,
rough. I want to like, what's your grade on this? Because there must be another side of this with you, because obviously you like the free content as well. And then 30 odd opals, there was Jimmy Butler in there, like Worthy. There were some good cards in there. Bill Russell at the end of it as well. Like, how would you grade it?
I can't. It is one of the highest points of the entire year in my team, as well as one of the lowest points.
Yeah,
it is simultaneously the best part of the season and the worst part of the season. So, I have to like. Yeah, so much good things came out of it. It's simultaneously the best and worst thing.
I did one change and it would have been good. And I know I'm on an island. Like I know for
What's
sure
your one change?
No one else would think this. If they were 5v5, I would have been happy and I would have done them. And I know it's like more gameplay, but let's be honest. Like, we said at the start, the whole purpose of this game is to build a squad and use the squad. There's very few opportunities to do that if you're not playing unlimited, and spotlights were one of those. I really enjoyed doing the John Ball spotlights. And like I said, I know I'm on an island, but it would have been fun just to use my main squad for.
You know what? That is your opinion. Like, everyone's got their own opinion, but the problem is that you weren't able to use your main squad in the John Wall spotlights. Really, you had to use X amount of players from X teams.
Yeah, for the later challenges.
Yeah, and like you had to play a lot of people were playing Hall of Fame difficulty games with bronze players in the John Wall challenges.
I saw most trying to do it on No Auction House. Oh, that was tough to watch.
Like all people did it was literally run up the floor, snatch back 3. On current gen, it was run up the floor, snatch back 3, shoot. On next gen, it was run up the floor, call a screen, easier way to the left and green. And no matter what players you were using around, you just picked one player to score every single point.
Yeah, fair.
It doesn't matter what gen you're on, you would pick one player. So it was like, it's the exact same as triple threat, just took longer in my opinion. Like, hypothetically, I get what you mean, using the best squad, but I mean 90% of the people, because it's like 10 players with X team, they would literally just pick. Like, I think I used Nate Robinson and Don O'L. I used Don O'L and Nate Robinson. And in the first quarter, I would shoot every single shot with Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
Because he had blinders and he'd hit all the threes. And then it didn't matter who I used around them. I shot every single shot with Don Buse in the second and fourth quarters.
Yeah.
The first and third quarters, they were Nate Robinson. And it didn't matter. I won every single game. Did not matter who the other 4 players were on the floor. Because I took every single shot with only 2 players.
I mean, that's kind of my team as a whole right now.
I know that's what most people did. Because I know someone who took every single shot through the entire Spotlight Sims with Luka Doncic.
That's a high IQ play. I respect it. For me, it's the biggest L. It's the only content they've released this year I haven't engaged with. I've done one of the Spotlights.
I mean, it's if you want, you can get a Dark Galaxy Opal card in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't give that. You cannot give that an L. If you're just starting off the game and you need a center, you can play 15 minutes of the game.
Listen, for those
and
guys,
you can get a card.
It's a W. For me, with my team, it's an L. None of those guys are making my team.
I mean, if you've got all dark matter cards, then like Bill Russell doesn't even make, in my opinion, the best team in my team.
Yeah.
Like Bull Porzingis.
I've got Bob.
What's his name? I prefer Ferry on current gen.
Yeah.
And Dikembe are better. Like, he doesn't make the best. Bill Russell probably is there or thereabouts. Like, there are a lot of people that's irrelevant for. Yeah. But I can't give 30 free opals an L. I can't.
That's fair. No, I get it. I think for the community, but like objectively, it's bordering on a W. For me, it's just an L. It was a one thing I was looking forward to. I stopped playing the game for 3 weeks because I was so.
A lot of them are so easy. A lot of them are really easy. I just got so. We've all just got so frustrated with those last 11 games.
Yeah,
that we realized that,
hit the wall. Yeah,
that it's it's clear that they didn't think it through when they were making the requirements. Not only didn't think it, it's clear they didn't test. And that's where the problem is. Like, I think overall it was a W, but a W that also exposed everything that's wrong with 2K.
Do you think there'll be more spotlights?
Yeah, season 9.
You think so? There will be. Okay, fair.
Yeah, I think there's going to be one last. I think this. People are telling me the season on Friday is going to be the last season. Are you mental? Are you mad? There's another
July,
2 months to go.
August.
There's not going to be. It's not going to be a 10-week season to end the year.
I mean,
2K make their most money off new seasons. The game will probably end on a new season. This will be probably 5 weeks, and there will be a new season, a new level 40 card. It'll be something like GOAT reality, something ridiculous like that, or Invincible reality. They're going to release Invincible cards everywhere on the last day, have Invincible only packs, and they're going to launch a new season with that. And
they did it last year, didn't they? They released Oscar was August, right? I think I got
7th of August was GOAT packs last year.
The super packs.
The
ones that had all of the GOAT cards in them.
Yeah, but they came out with like 10 new GOATs as well.
Right, that was like Stockton and all of that. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, they were the 7th of August last year.
I remember getting Oscar a couple of days after he came out, and that was it for me. That was a wrap. So it must have been early August that I stopped playing. So I think it'll be a similar thing. Let's see. All right, I've got 2 more for you. 3 cards, all the XP cards: TJ, Micah, Nash, Christian Wood, the Luca.
W.
Yeah.
W.
Yeah, that's an easy one, I think. There's a part of me that wants to say N because I don't think the cards. No, it is a W.
That's why they're free, because they're not game changing. Like
Tony did change again. The previous season.
Yeah, but like you can't expect that. Like Tony was the accumulation of 5 bad cards.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's a W. I'll give it a W. I'm running Micah now. I'm running TJ now. I mean, I'm even running that free Luca because I sold my other one, so it made me some MT as well. Yeah, it's a W. I'll take it. Last proper one. OP point guards. We're at that point in the year. We got there definitely this season. I think Simmons was end of last season, right? What reality? But we've got a few of them now. We've got LeBron and Giannis.
W for the reason that, first of all, there will never be a year of my team where there's not going to be an overpowered point guard Simmons. Because first of all, he plays point guard.
Yeah.
So we can't expect a non-point guard Simmons. And with the way my team is in terms of realism, even if they go back to realism, we can't. People always forget, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we need more realistic 2Ks." Like back in 2K17, you could shoot 8 of 8 from 3 with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and people are like, "Oh, it was more realistic back then." No, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's
it was
selective memory
like
for sure.
The sliders were so low back then. People were shooting half court shots, not just with Steph Curry in 2K16. You could put limitless range on any player, and you could shoot from half court.
Yeah. I mean, the question becomes position looks, doesn't it? I mean, Giannis in particular is at point guard is a rational card that is always an OP card and like is a yearly card now. We're going to get one next year as well.
Yeah. But what I will say though is that I'm going to say it's a W because this year there are so many good, cheap, tall point guards. Last year it was you have Simmons, you had LeBron, you had Giannis. And then if you wanted a 6'8" point guard, you were either LaMelo and what's his name, Jalen Rose. They were the big point guards.
Yeah.
Hito as well, Jonathan Isaac, Lamar Odom. All those guys like 150K. For 9K, you can get Nick Batum this year.
Yeah, that's true.
For 2K, you can get Boris Diaw.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a W. I think it's a W as well. Yeah. I think for the exact reasons you said, I think the fact that it's not so OP. Like Ben Simmons definitely felt like he was on an island when he came out. Like,
that's what I was about to say. I was like, it's a W because Ben Simmons last season, it was just like, if you don't have Ben Simmons, you're at a huge disadvantage. You have to use either Grant Hill, who is priced way too high for now because of the fact that Simmons existed.
Yeah.
Or you're using a Magic Johnson who on current gen can't run.
Yeah. It leveled out the game a little bit. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I think it was a good thing. Okay, one last thing for you. WLN. Your series versus Ty. Let's grade that. The next gen battle. What's your memory?
It ended bad. It ended badly for me. Like, in fairness, Ty is better than I thought he was going to be on next gen. Ty prepped more for that game than I did, which
I think he was training. Yeah, he was.
He knew the next gen cheese better than I knew the next gen cheese.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't prep for that game at all. I just playing a friendly game. He evidently prepped. Like, the way he was throwing some double teams at me, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you'll see my press." And I was watching. I was like, he's been labbing. Like, he tried. As much as he wants to say he kicked back before that game, like, I was curry sliding and triple threat offline. He tried.
Yeah.
He learned the game because he went right out and beat RCA 2-0 after that.
Yes, I watched those games as well.
Like, I know RCA wasn't at his best, but still RCA played all right.
Yeah, he did. I think Ty was secretly grinding next gen the whole time.
He wasn't grinding next gen that much. He labbed though. He probably spent about 3 or 4 hours labbing, I reckon, in the week leading up to it. Whereas I spent 0 time playing next gen.
Retrospectively, is it a WLN or an N?
I mean, it did well viewers wise, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like
the W.
Like, I'll take the abuse. I don't care that my name is One Way Mick. I didn't think I was gonna lose on my own servers.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was gonna happen, and I think I could have won on my servers. I think if we play on my host, if we played 10 times, he probably wins 6, I win 4. It was just he got a 20-point lead early in that game because just ridiculous stuff happening. Or like even game 1, he hits his first 7 whites or something to start the game.
Yeah. He was aware of it as well.
He started greening. And it was worse was like he got the big lead from like whites and everything. Yeah. But then anytime I tried to come back, that's when he started greening. Yeah, when he got comfortable, it was green. I think with that game, he wins 10 times out of 10 in his server. Like, I don't stand a chance on his server.
Are you saying that a rematch? Is that what?
No, I won't.
Never again.
It won't happen.
Never again. All right, I'm going to give you my opinion. It was a W. I absolutely loved all of it. I loved the build up to it. The WrestleMania 6 graphic was definitely my highlight. I was an Ultimate Warrior guy. I love the games. It was just great I just love stuff like I love it when the community does 2K's job, and that was a great example of it.
It's the reason why I don't think it's going to happen is a lot of it's to do, like, in fairness, I don't think I would do it again as much as I would love to, because it's hard for me to hype it up again.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for me to hype up again with Ty because he's that much better than me at the game now.
Yeah.
And like there was still some like intrigue about whether he was good on next gen or not. And like when he won 250, I was a lot better at 2K than I am now because I played it a lot more at that stage. And it was very like my beard had grown so out of control that I could put that up as a bet.
Yeah.
And it could be a big deal.
Yeah, I respect that.
As well as that, I knew what Ty's kryptonite would have been in that type of a game. So like I knew Ty wasn't going to sweat the game the first time around because he's that much better than me. He just won 250k. But I knew that I could piss him off if he was taking the piss, and I post-hooked him for the whole game.
Yeah.
So like I knew exactly what I was doing in that game, and I knew it was going to be close. But then the second time around, like ironically enough, there was a bigger gap in us on current gen, but I kept it close because I just trolled. But I don't know how to troll on next gen. So he was just being that bit better than me was what won those 2 games.
If it was the first week of 2K21 and the stick god was there,
I win.
You would have.
Yeah, no, he'll say it himself, and I think most people will say it. The way the game was programmed at the start of the year, I was unguardable because once I got the ball past the halfway line, I would score a 3-pointer every time.
Could you imagine if they didn't patch that? Like the year you would have had. You were doing that with like some of the worst cards we've seen this year. Can you imagine that on these new OP cards?
Zen didn't work, which is funny. Because where you were on the floor mattered. You actually could not program to stick Zen. But because people were finding it too easy to act, people that were actually using the stick, not even they found it too easy. People that used the button complained that stick people were actually shooting better than them.
Yeah.
So then they changed it. And now obviously the Zen exists. And that's how stick shooting was a start in next gen, and they ruined stick shooting on next gen as well.
Yeah.
Like they brought it into the game and ruined it. But I don't know. I don't think I could have kept up with it because I started getting really bad hand pain.
Yeah, you said you were literally using like a claw, right?
I was playing with a claw, yeah.
Like a claw on the controller. Fair. All right. Thanks, DBG. I appreciate it, man. Like, yeah, this is the first episode of a new series. We're going to do this all the time. It's going to how we're going to react to everything. I'm doing one tomorrow for the new season with old friend Killer Josh. Hopefully he's awake.
Josh back in AK-47.
AK-47. Yeah, he's back on it.
Did he get Vince this time?
He's going to have some hot takes. No. Do you know what's funny? You know NBA 2K Kiwi? The guy who actually put us in touch with you originally, Jerome.
Yeah.
He was grinded most of it for Josh, and he still didn't finish it.
Jesus. Did Josh pay him?
No, just doing him favors. He is the laziest guy.
If he wants a little bit of cash, tell him to hit me up for the dominate. Actually, no. If the main guy is busy for the new domination that's coming out on Friday, so I'm getting that in a couple of hours straight away.
I'm going to be all over that. That's exciting. Should we catch up in a couple of weeks? Should we do this again?
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Awesome,
Sounds
man.
Good.
Thank you for coming on. It's always fun. Always fun.
Thank you.
So there you have it, guys. That's the new concept. I hope you enjoyed it. Drop a comment below if you have a reaction to anything that either of us said. We had some pretty different opinions. Big shout out to DBG for coming on the first episode. We'll be doing another one in a week or two. And I'll be back tomorrow with Killer Josh reacting to the new season. It's exciting times. But like and subscribe, guys. We're less than 20 subs away from 1,000. It's amazing. Thank you for all your support. Until next time. Thanks for watching, guys.